veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
88.7 KWDM West Des Moines, your home for modern rock.
Back on 88.7 KWDM The Point, I'm Ian Nelson, and welcome back to a special segment on 88.7 KWDM The Point, the show where we bring on the coolest guests and make them the point. As I said, I'm Ian Nelson, and today it is with great pleasure that we get to sit down and talk to three members of Valley's production of Into the Woods, Mr. Elijah Kwadiba, Ms. Savannah McBride, and Mr. Amos Hanser. Welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
To start things off, just so the listeners can get a feel of your voice, can you say your name, grade, and what you are playing in Into the Woods?
All right, I can start. Hi, my name is Elijah Kwadiba. I am a senior, and I will be playing the narrator in Into the Woods.
My name is Amos Hanser. I am a senior, and I am playing the role of Jack.
Hi, my name is Savannah McBride. I'm a senior, and I'm the baker's wife.
All right, awesome. So can we just still go back down the line and just talk about your history with Valley Drama? How long have you been a part of Valley Drama, and what has this time meant to you personally?
Perfect. I met Mr. Westrom my freshman year. I was doing some other auditions, and I asked him if I could use this room, and we got to talking about it, and I told him I was going to do drama next year, and I did that thing. Sophomore year was a great experience. I had a lot of bonds, and that's what it meant to me. I wanted to help the department in any way I can in the following years, and I hope that I've helped it in the best way possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I also started freshman year with IHSSA group mime. What a pleasure that was. And then, the next year I got up to the big building and really got to meet all of the directors. And from there, we're here. We're Jack. We're Into the Woods.
This is my 7th production, full play or musical, and I started my freshman year, which was the first time they allowed freshmen to be in the musical. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool to experience the joys of a full musical with all the upperclassmen. And I mean, our whole high school career have been the drama department, the play, the musical, IHSSA, that's all year long, and we dedicate a lot of time, and we really love it.
So for those that don't know much about Into the Woods, this is the spring musical here at Valley. Can one of you guys give a little summary of the show, or at least share what your characters do in the show?
I think that's fitting for the narrator, right?
Yeah, let's run down this plot. So basically, it's your favorite fairy tales. You have Rapunzel, you have Cinderella, you have Jack and the Beanstalk. But here's a little twist. You also have a baker and his wife. And their story is more of the central story of the whole thing, how they go to it, trying to get themselves a child. And then we learn many lessons along the way that come with that, and we go into the woods.
Yeah.
Going into the woods. Amos, you are Jack. What does Jack, we know the old story, Jack and the Beanstalk, but how does he play a role, one of the bigger roles in the show? What does he bring to this Into the Woods experience?
Yeah, I think he's described once in the musical as having a sunny but slightly vague disposition, which in more crude terms, he's a little slow. And so as Jack is sent in the woods to sell his cow to bring some money to his mom, he gets very lost. And he runs into the baker and the baker's wife and Little Red Riding Hood and all these people. And along his way, he goes up the beanstalk. And he's one of the two main children of the production, Jack and Little Red, that are really used as great plot devices to give a relationship between adults and children and growing up in life and learning their lessons.
Yeah, I know that one of the big storylines of Into the Woods is about the children and the growth, especially from the fairy tales. But you, Elijah, also mentioned that this story really revolves around the baker and his wife, and Savannah as the baker's wife. What does it mean really to play the baker's wife? And also, what does the baker's wife, how does she stand out in this show?
Give me a sec.
Oh, wow.
The baker and the baker's wife, all they really wanted, they want a child, and that's why they go into the woods to fetch all the different fairy tale objects, and they meet all these other people. But they lose sight of what it is they actually want, and they're like just going, and on the way they make decisions that they shouldn't have, and they have to learn their lessons the hard way because they're so focused on getting the thing that they want that they lose sight of who they love and who they are as people.
Yeah, one of the big things about Sondheim and these classic musicals, it's a great story, but then that underlying message is really what brings it and what makes it stick with fans. So why, to any of you guys, why do you think that people should come to watch this show, and what do you think they should get from it?
I mean, Into the Woods, our director was just telling us this yesterday. Everyone's done Into the Woods, and that's because it represents not just how the drama, like the aspect of it, like the life of it is, but how everyone's life is. You know, there's heartbreak, there's angst. You may hate the people that you're around sometimes, but at the end of the day, what matters is the turmoil that is in front of you and how you are going to come against it. You know, it's a story about accepting people for their flaws and who they are, because we are all beautiful people.
I also think people come to the theater to get away and to watch something and just experience other feelings, and so you should just come for a night of fun. It's silly, it's goofy, it's entertaining, but it's also deep and meaningful and powerful.
Yeah, that really is what makes theater one of the best things in this world. And talking about Into the Woods, it is one of the longer musicals in all of history. So it's taken a lot, I know, from my own theater experience to create this big mass piece. Can you talk a little bit about how this process has been to create this big show? When did preparation begin? Like, when did auditions? And then when was the first rehearsal? And how many months have you all been working on this?
Too many. Oh God.
Auditions were back at the beginning of December, and so we knew our roles by like mid-December, and then we got scripts like right when we got back from winter break. But that is also peak show choir, jazz choir, IHSSA season. So, and of course, we are all involved in all of those things. So we had our scripts that we could technically start working on, but we probably didn't start working on it till like the very end of February. So then all of March and most of April, because, you know, our show is like the second to last week of April. So really not a long time in the grand scheme of things. It's a lot of work to put together in a short amount of time. We have a lot of hours at rehearsals every day.
That kind of like a little bit of stress from starting with only 2 months until the show, whereas other even drama things, whereas like I just say in show choir, those type of things all start many months, 3 to 4 months. Does that stress of being super close to opening night and having this much of a show left, does it cause you to really lock in faster, or does it just make things a lot more hectic?
Yeah, I mean, I think stress is always part of a production, but if I can offer like a positive viewpoint on it, I think like at the end of the day, show week comes along, whether you want it to or not, and I think like the stress really adds to the joy I can pull from a production. Like, despite all of the bad, like here's this beautiful, good thing that we've made despite all of it, which is also a central message of Into the Woods. Everybody goes and finds their wishes, and they come with problems, but it's better to take the problems than never get your wishes.
With this show being at Valley, one of the biggest high schools who has a reputation of having some of the largest productions, I know there's close to 100 students, maybe more, maybe a little less, that have been working on this show, both in and behind the scenes. How important are those nearly 100 students to the success of the overall show?
Oh, every single bit.
Literally everybody.
I mean, we tend to feel like we've all gotten ensemble at some point, and at that point, you sometimes feel like you're not important. but you can just see in like movies. You can see even in regular stage productions, it feels vague. It feels empty when there's not those people. And those people also play a very integral part. Like, we have so many sets that they're able to turn, and they are like the forest around us. We have dancers. There's dancers moving all around. There's so many things that they are doing, and every single person matters. And not even just the people on stage, but the people off. It took a really long time to build our set. And like the props there, they're beautiful. I got a nice little pimp cane that I use. Wow. It's magnificent. I love my outfit. They took a lot of time and put work into it. I think, yeah, every single bit.
Yeah, I've seen the first about 15 minutes of the show, which is like 1% of the overall. Yeah, right. But it is a beautiful thing. And one thing that I know from auditioning and knowing a little bit about this show that is different than some other schools and what Valley has done in the past, they have brought in non-Valley, West Des Moines kids, but non-Valley kids to be dancers. Savannah, I know as a dancer and who helped in that audition process, can you talk a little bit about the dance crew and what they bring to the show?
Yeah, so we have some like mostly 6th through 8th graders. There's a couple high schoolers in there that are mostly competition dancers. They're all very great dancers. And they are, along with our forest chorus, they're also part of the forest, but they're helping to move the story along and to be, like, really embody the elements because they know how to use their bodies so well, and they can create more visuals to help us move the story along. So we're not just like, here's our stationary trees. We have, like, if there's a wind blowing, they're moving, and it just really adds to the story, brings it more to life.
Yeah, that's really cool, especially because sometimes these classics of a shows that Sondheim and the others have made can sometimes get stocky and very this, and to bring that is very important. And I think you've mentioned, Amos, that it kind of speaks to the message of Into the Woods of how everybody is just always moving, but in the end, it's to create one thing. Moving on, you are all seniors. The underclassmen involved in this show is one of the largest in history just because we keep on bringing in more freshmen and sophomores. What does it mean to you all that so many young kids and underclassmen are interested and committed to keeping this department going?
Yeah, I mean, I think like Elijah said earlier, like the people and the kids involved are the art of the musical. Like, without the kids, there is no musical. And I think, like, we're just truly gifted to have so many younger people so interested in making beautiful things together, because that means in the future, when they're our age, they'll be maybe on KWDM just like us, talking about how they're putting on whatever production and how they're so grateful to be a part of it. And I just think it's so special that we have all these young kids interested at the age they're at. And now they have all this time to really live it and experience it and get better and like do beautiful things with it.
Moving on to looking into the show, Into the Woods is written by Stephen Sondheim, and Sondheim is famous for writing incredibly complex music and tongue-twisting lyrics. What has been the most difficult song or scene for you guys to master, and how did it feel when it finally clicked, or has it clicked yet?
It'll click tonight.
It'll happen tonight.
All right. But no, I would say our openings mm-hmm. are just so like dependent on everyone to be completely locked in. And I'll say personally, my own stuff, when I have like little blocky sections where I just talk, because my talking also has to match with the music, and so that can be a challenge. That's just a personal one. But I'd say, yeah, when it comes to people having like one line after another, but it's really short lines and they're all dependent on one another, those are our hardest things.
The openings are super important, especially they're the openings of both acts. It introduces the story and who we are, and it gives so much information to our characters and what we're doing and why we want things. And it goes so quickly between the different stories. And it also, just from a music standpoint, changes time signatures and key signatures and tempos, and it goes very crazy, and everyone has different entrances, different notes. It's very difficult, but it'll be very rewarding.
Yeah, I think they both mentioned the opening, so I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to practice it a little, though. But I think another staple, a musical theater staple in general, from this music specifically, is Your Fault, we're moving. We are singing at Mach speed for that entire song, and it's just words and words and words and words. Sometimes I feel like Eminem. But we'll get it. Come see the show, and you'll find out if we got it or not.
So you mentioned earlier, Elijah, that Into the Woods is all about different fairy tales and how they collide. To all of you, who is your favorite person to share the stage with in this show? And is there a specific moment between your characters that the audience should really look out for?
You guys should probably go for a second, I think, on this.
Well, I love anytime I'm on stage with Juan.
Awesome.
Being the baker and the baker's wife, we have a lot of sweet moments and argumentative moments, but I love dancing with him, I love singing with him, and it means a lot, especially because I'm leaving next year. So all of those moments are very meaningful.
I mean, what kind of jack would I be if I didn't say Milky White was my favorite? We have a puppeteer doing Milky White, and we had our beautiful head of camp, Tim Brown, made almost life-sized cow puppet, and it just looks so good, and I love my Milky White so much.
This show has a very famous line, and we were talking about how this show really focuses on the kids. Careful of the things you say, children will listen. Mm-hmm. Beyond just the script, what is one lesson or takeaway you've learned from this specific story that you'll carry with you after graduation as seniors, and one that you also want to share, especially tomorrow when you bring in the elementary and middle school kids for the Thursday matinee that brings in everybody from the Western School District? What is that one takeaway?
I think the biggest takeaway you can have from this is things aren't about you all the time. Like, we've had a lot of moments where you feel, oh, I need this, I need this, I need this, but it's a musical. It depends on every single person, and sometimes you have to lend yourself to others in order for it to work. And that's just a fact of life. You have to lend yourself and be willing to help others, sacrifice a little, because when it's in your time of need, somebody will need a sacrifice for you, and that's the only way we can truly coexist.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say don't lose sight of who you are, especially when you're so focused on, I need to get this, I need to do this, like who you are as a person and what you care about. Don't lose sight of that.
Yeah, and I think if I'm going to go back to quoting, I think I can speak for all of us. In the Witch's song that she sings to her daughter, at the very end of her song, her line is, stay a child while you can be a child. And I think for the phase of life that the three of us are in, and you too, Ian, that one really speaks wonders, because it really flies by. And the musical preaches about doing things for each other, but also doing things for children, because that's when they can live life worry-free and full of imagination. And I think, if I had advice to underclassmen or the people that are going to come see this matinee, like, stay a child while you can still do that.
We've been kind of speaking as all of us as seniors, but especially you three. This is one of your last times walking across that Valley PAC stage. When the curtains go down, not to make you guys sad, of course, but on Sunday for your final performance, what is one thing you guys are going to miss the most about this department?
Maybe the certainty. Like, you're certain crazy things are going to happen no matter what, but you're always certain that you're going to have a home to come to next year. And so that's the one thing that's going to be a doubt. Like, it's not going to be the same people. It's going to be a complete different area change. So I guess I'll miss that.
I just miss the excitement of putting on the shows here. I love the directors. I love the people I work with. I love the audiences we bring in, and we just have such a great space to perform in.
Yeah, I'm going to miss the people a lot. I'm going to miss all my friends and my underclassmen buddies, and I'm just going to miss all the people quite a lot.
To lighten things up, with a cast and crew of nearly 100 people, there are bound to be, as you mentioned, Eliza, some fun and crazy traditions. Do you have any pre-show rituals, inside jokes, or favorite backstage memories from this specific production, or really just through your time through all the different Valley productions?
It is a tradition that has passed away, but there's a special tree that has always kept the boys united through thick and thin, and we always used to re-energize ourselves or get hype around it. I'm going to miss that tree.
Oh, it's still in the bathroom. We're bringing it back out. Don't worry.
Are we bringing it back?
We're bringing yeah, Ian, the inner tree.
The inner tree.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not in the guys.
Yeah, it's a boys' changing room thing. Please don't come in there.
For you two, is there any just like rituals or just pre-show things or even post-show things that you will remember the most?
You know, I think I've always thought our drama president has always given speeches, or a drama officer has given speeches before the show, and I think, I mean, those have kind of waned on me as I've gotten older, but as a sophomore, I remember like feeling so inspired by watching like Mar get up there and tell us like we are the production and we are the beauty and like we're here to create beautiful things together. And I'd leave that room so happy with myself that I was part of something so beautiful. And then I'd go to the boys' changing room and I'd get energized by the energy.
I always, whenever the overture is going, I take a moment and I just close my eyes and I visualize before the show and I think through everything I need to do. But
I think that's really empowering. And one thing that for any theater fans listening will know is kind of a staple from the directors. They always say very close to the end of the show, we don't have a show yet. Has that happened yet this year?
We've never had that.
They have not said those words exactly.
I have felt those words.
Oh.
But they have not said those
but
words.
I don't think those words have come out of their mouth.
Yeah. You know,
We're going to have a show tonight.
yeah, we
have a show.
We stay with positivity. We stay with positivity. Like,
Oh, man.
you know.
Don't come, maybe wait till Friday to come see it, and then by then we will have a show.
Yes, actually, don't come tonight. Come on Friday because you pay that time.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
we
I love
have
you all,
money.
but
Going back to the question about underclassmen, what would you say to anybody on the fence about joining drama, either acting or helping backstage? Is it ever too late to join even as upperclassmen? And how beneficial is it to drama for your overall growth?
I mean, I know a lot of the underclassmen this year. I adore them. I'm so happy to see what they'll grow to as they become older. And I think it's never too late to join. My brother was a junior, and then he became the president. So, like, it really is never too late to join. And I think you'll learn things about yourself that you never knew before. It's so eye-opening to go into the body of another person, another character, because then it makes you evaluate what makes yourself different from this character, what makes this person flawed, and then you can see your flaws and you're like, maybe I'm not that bad. Maybe I could just be the hope for another person.
Yeah, I think it's, to answer your question, it is never too late, and I urge everybody that could ever listen to this, please do drama at some point in your life, even if you're a grown adult. Do it, because I think acting is such a reflective experience, such an empathetic experience to really live and breathe another person's life. When you're on stage, it really makes you think about your own and who you are, and I think it's a really, really valuable experience.
Yeah, I would also say get involved in any aspect of theater, but worst case scenario, you don't like it, you don't do it again, but more likely than not, you're going to fall in love with it, as we have, and as many other people have, and it's just a great place to be.
Yeah, I know for me personally, this one sticks on because like your brother, Elijah, I didn't join until my junior year. Last year, I started with the Heart of Robin Hood, and it brought me all the way to Hamlet this year, and then joining camp as the advertising, leading this. It really is a full circle moment, and I agree. I think there is never an age to stop. Going into the show, without giving away any spoilers unless you really want to, what is one specific moment, set piece, or costume reveal that you think is going to absolutely blow the audience's minds when they see it? You could just say after intermission or a certain scene number, how far into the show, also, without giving it away too much.
I mean, I'll speak very vaguely that I think our witch, Elena, I think our witch has a lot of hidden beauty.
Yeah. I take a tumble.
Any specific scene change or transformation? Yeah, we got a beautiful witch. You fall. we also got a beautiful Cinderella. Life is beautiful.
True.
Yeah.
All right, to wrap things up, let's do a little quick lightning round. We'll start with Savannah, then go to Amos, then to Elijah, and it will just be really 1 to 2 words to answer. I got 3 questions. So first, if you could play any other character in the show, who would it be and why?
The Witch, because her songs are fun to sing.
Amos?
The princes are fun.
I'd say the baker's wife. I love Maybe They're Magic.
So valid, so valid.
Oh my God.
What is your go-to post-rehearsal snack or meal after those long, grueling hours of being at the school from 3 to 10 or 3 to 9, however long it is? What is your post-rehearsal snack or meal?
I like a trip to Bebop's.
Brownies.
I go to Aldi's and I get a 12-pack of oatmeal cream pies and eat them all for the night.
Amazing.
And finally, describe this production in exactly 3 words. 3 words. Into the Woods is 3 words, so I want your description to be 3 words as well.
Wishes, journey, love.
Go ahead, Elijah, you first.
They can also
All
be
of
funny.
us.
All of us. All right. And Amos, Mr. Jack.
Walk in, bro.
Wishes forever, always.
Very powerful stuff. But that is all I have. Again, thank you so much, Elijah, Savannah, and Amos, for your time. We have the narrator, Jack, and Baker's wife, plus so many more who have not joined us. So make sure to catch Into the Woods this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which will make you wish it never ends, and it's not their fault. Your heart will be left in agony.
That's so good.
Thank you guys so much. And to all of our listeners, make sure to catch Into the Woods this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But that is all. So keep rocking out with us here on 88.7 KWDM, The Point.
Yay!
I'm Ian Nelson, signing off.